Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say welcome back from the holidays, and I'm so happy to be here today after Christmas. We had to get through it. We did it. New Year's, we got through it. We did it. And I just want to say we have a very special guest today. She is beautiful on the inside as well as the outside. She's talented. She's smart. And I just want to say welcome to the KIMBALL HOOKER Show, Miss Larriah Jackson.
Oh my gosh, that introduction was phenomenal. Thank you so much.
Can we get a song clap?
Ah, yes.
Yay, right? K-Cat Radio is here for you,
yes.
And we want to know more about you.
Of course. Thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm fine. I'm blessed.
That's good.
I'm fine.
Good.
But we're here to talk about you.
Okay.
I just want to know, so let's start from the beginning. We're going to cover a lot of ground.
Okay, let's do it.
But I want to start from the beginning.
All right.
How did Larriah Jackson get started?
Larriah Jackson got started when she was about 3 years old.
Oh, wow. Take us back.
Yeah, it's been a minute. When I was younger, I fell in love with two very, very specific movies. One was Dreamgirls.
Oh, nice.
Featuring Beyonce, Jennifer Hudson, Jamie Foxx. Another one was Ray, also featuring Jamie Foxx. And I just kind of fell in love with not just, the idea of the movie, because they were both monumental movies. I just fell in love with the music and the drama and the action of just kind of having that light surrounding me. And I just remember my mom would like put on those two movies back to back to back to back to back, and I would just kind of be sitting there just listening and watching them kind of portray their stories, and I fell in love with that. And I'm telling you, that was my song.
Wow.
From 3 to about 5, and from then, I just kind of fell in love with music. And my mom, she would see me around the house, just kind of watching the movies and singing with her. And I would just be singing at the top of my lungs. And they kind of noticed, she really, really, really loves this. And so there was, a few people were like, well, is she really a singer, or is she like a singer? I was like, they're like, well, she's 3. What do you want her to do? And from there, we were like, you know what? We'll just take things into our own hands. So in Sacramento, there is a place called the Crocker Art Museum. And I performed there when I was 3 years old, singing The Greatest Love of All by Whitney Houston.
Wow.
And it was, to this day, that story, I don't remember much of it at all because I was 3. So, I hear a lot of it from my mom and my grandmother, but just having that idea of being surrounded by music, that has been my starting point. It was never, anyone being like, well, maybe she can sing so she can find a career. Maybe we're going to push her into this. It was always just me kind of having that magnetic energy towards music. And I kind of just got this opportunity to do it. So my first performance, I was 3 years old. And then from there, it was just kind of performance after performance. It was, people reaching out like, hey, she's young. We want to see her doing more. What can we do? What can we help? And from age 3 to about now, I've done over 400 shows.
Oh my gosh.
Something like that.
That's a lot of shows.
It's a lot. It's really hard to comprehend.
Wow. That's impressive, especially because you didn't chase it. It just kind of happened. It evolved on its own.
Right. I feel very lucky for that, because I know a lot of people I talk to who are adults now, they're like, it took me a very long time to find what I wanted to do as far as, whatever their career is. And I just feel very, very lucky that I found something I was passionate about from jump.
Right. Right. It just kind of fell in your lap.
Honestly, yeah.
You know that doesn't happen for everybody. You know that, right?
Yes, and I'm very, very lucky.
You know what they call people like you?
What?
Chosen one.
Oh, goodness. I really, really, that's something that I've clung to. I just want to be able to take my gift and push it to as many feats that I possibly can.
Understand. Exactly. Yeah. So you were 3 years old. What did you have any like people that you looked up to, role models, any type of
Whitney was my number one. She was my everything. And I think that's why I sing The Greatest Love of All, because that was my mom's favorite song at the time. She loved the song. And so she, of course, sat down with me to teach me the song. I remember we would literally sing every line. So she would sing a line, I would sing it back to her. She would sing a line, I would sing it back to her. And that's how I memorized the song, because, I wasn't going to sit there and read the words.
And that's fun. Singing with your mom is fun.
Exactly. It was so much fun. And then just to be able to, portray that. And I think I fell in love with Whitney's ability to touch her audience, because, just in my house, it was 3 generations. It was me, my mom, and my grandmother. And all 3 of us, all different ages, but we all loved Whitney. We all loved just how open she was with her audience, how she could touch each person regardless of their age, their race, anything.
Right.
So I wanted to do the same. I think that was my biggest goal. I was like, I just want to do that. I want to be able to touch people with my voice.
That's a gift right there. I want to say this. I have to interrupt and kind of just say this. It's a blessing just to have them support you like that.
Truly.
Because without support, okay, it's a deterrent.
Truly.
And I just want to say, they're here supporting you.
They are definitely here.
And I'm so happy to see it, because I grew up in the house with Musiq as well.
Right.
But when you don't have support, it can totally change your life for the worse.
Truly, it can. I think, not having that support can kind of push you like, well, why am I doing this? Like,
in the first place, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, why am I doing this? Why am I just kind of putting all my wits on a dream?
Right.
When in reality, that dream could turn into a career, into something that you are truly passionate about. So I'm beyond grateful having these two beautiful, strong women support me through everything I wanted to do.
And the fact that they just believe in you is everything.
Yes.
Right? Because support takes you so far.
Oh, yes.
Support. Right?
Right.
Okay, so at that time, what happened? So you have Whitney Houston, right? Any other legendary or people that you really like to listen to or sing with?
I loved Whitney. I loved Michael. I loved Jennifer Hudson, was also one of my top favorites. And because I was in Sacramento, California, I mean, there wasn't much vocal talent happening. I mean, none that were around my age until I got older, not until I started kind of seeing more of like the vocal talent that was in Sacramento. But at the time it seemed kind of bare. So it was like, I'm a singer, but I don't really have many singers to look up to here in Sacramento.
Local.
Right. Right. So I mean, I found my idols outside of Sacramento. Right. So I kind of like looked for, other artists, like, wherever they are, like on Disney Channel, of course. That was my thing when I was younger. So I mean, looking at those singers, like, okay, so they're young, they're like a little bit older than me, let's see if I can get there, let's see if I can kind of match their energy as far as their talent.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I like about you is you're not afraid to reach out and see what's out there. That's big. There's so many avenues that you can take, right? I mean, you have obviously, because of the internet, now we have apps on your phone, TV.
Yeah.
And so the fact that you're not afraid to challenge yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And some of the names that you gave, those are some big shoes to fill.
Oh, yes, they are.
To call yourself, I want to be like that.
It's really crazy. Many people, I think when I turned probably like about 8, 9, that's when my voice kind of really started to set in. Because of course, from like 3 to about 7, I had a voice, but it wasn't as mature as it is now. So like 8, 9, I started kind of finding my vocal technique. I started finding certain things about my voice, kind of basically fine tuning it as much as I possibly could. And I remember someone at some show, she was just like, "You remind me so much of Whitney," and I was like, "What?"
That's a high compliment.
I remind you of who?
Yeah.
What?
Right.
So it was, of course, it was, a person who gave me a phenomenal compliment, but I don't think she understood the magnitude of what that compliment gave me.
Right.
Because, I mean, it's Whitney Houston. Who doesn't know who Whitney Houston is? And it wasn't just because of her name. It was because of what she had bestowed upon me as an artist. Like, it was just, I literally loved just her voice, her cadence, how she was unapologetically Whitney. Like, she had this kind of, I don't know, like
she was raw.
Right. She was really, really, really raw. Like, she just had this, I don't know, this glow about her that everyone knew who she was, regardless of what she was doing.
Presence.
Right.
Yeah. Did you ever have any lessons?
I did. I was about 7. I started doing vocal lessons.
Okay.
And those were probably my save and grace, because it taught me technique. It taught me, how to find my own presence in my voice, and it taught me how to not just, go out and sing at the top of my lungs, but to go out and actually be intentional with every note that I sing. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Breathing and all that.
Oh yes. Diaphragm, all that.
Right. I know that's important, especially when you're doing a long show.
Oh yes. So it's like, you have to I don't think people understand how difficult performing can be. Like, it's really not something you just go up there and do.
It's demanding.
You have to prepare for that.
Right.
Like, mentally, physically, emotionally, you got to be in that performance if you want to touch your audience.
Right.
And that's the main goal. You want to be there for your audience so they can be like, I remember her.
Right. Right. Do you write?
I do write.
Oh,
yes.
okay.
I've been recording since I was about 14, 15.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I did not write at first. It's still something I am working on, but I've written a lot more since then. I just kind of I find like little beats, or I get beats from producers and I kind of write to those,
Okay.
or, you know, I'll just try to write stories and then kind of make songs from them. I'm still working on my confidence in that, but I'll get there one day.
Okay. All right. So original though, right?
Yes, yes.
Oh, good. The type of music that you're writing, is it more of the music that you listen to? Is it what kind of genre or style would you call it?
I would say the music that I write is much more R&B.
Okay.
Like, it's not necessarily, I think that's my niche when it comes to music. You know, I like pop. I like to listen to pop. I like to listen to, you know, rap if I really, really want to. But I think my niche is R&B, soul, jazz music. If possible, if I can learn how to mend the new school and kind of mend, you know, the attention span of the new school and kind of mend it with the old school cadence, you know?
Right. I got a question for you.
Yes.
Your dress. Who dresses you? Because you know you came in here looking like sharp, right? I was like, wait a minute, she looks like a superstar.
For the longest time, I would literally go to my mom for every performance. I was like, Mom, I don't know what to wear. Please help. And I think for a while, she was like, no, you're going to figure it out yourself. I'm not going to dress you anymore. You're going to figure it out.
I'm like, I want that jacket. I'm sitting there looking at her like, wait a minute, why she dressed better than me? I'm the host. She doing the most over here. I was like, girl.
So this outfit today is all me. But usually it's a mixture of me and my mom, if I'm being totally honest.
Right. Okay, yeah. All right. That's good. Oh, you know what? That's part of your stage too, though.
Right. It definitely is. It's a part of it. I think I learned that just, you know, being in this industry per se for so long. Everything matters. Hair matters. You know, looks matter. It all is supposed to, I guess, complement your talent.
Absolutely.
Right.
So the shows that you have done, like, who's booking you? Who kind of orchestrates or narrates, like, you getting shows?
Right. I mean, as far as a manager, we don't. It's been me and my mom and my grandmother. Okay. That has been my management.
Okay.
From age 3 till now.
Wow. That's strong.
Right. It's crazy. And I mean, so many people have come to us and like, yeah, you need a manager. You need this, you need this, you need that.
Right.
And I was like, well, yeah, I hope to get that one day. But I also hope to find someone who has my best interest at heart, as these two do, you know?
Right.
So that's definitely something I want to partake in one day, as far as management, as far as having someone who actually knows the business fully in and out to help me kind of guide my career. But at the same time, I think it's really, really crucial for me to find someone who is not going to take advantage of my talent, which has happened to many young girls in this industry.
Absolutely. Definitely. That's something, number one, you should look out for is protecting yourself. Right. And, what you're signing, what you're not signing, what you're willing to do, not willing to do, and so forth, right? But you have a strong support team, so we know that's not going to happen.
I really, really do. I'm sorry I didn't answer your question. As far as shows, being in Sacramento, I mean, I would say, not to sound cocky or anything, but I feel like my image has kind of portrayed itself in Sacramento. So I mean, I feel like people have come to me like, hey, we want you at this show. Can you come? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you sing this song? And I'll be like, yeah, of course. Why not?
But that's just a testament of your hard work.
Thank you very
and your
much.
hustle. You're being rewarded for putting yourself out there like that. That's all that is. Nothing cocky about that.
Thank you.
Sometimes you just gotta say it.
Right.
You're promoting yourself, right?
Right. Exactly. That's the biggest part of it.
That's the biggest part.
Yeah.
Okay. So some of your favorite songs to sing.
Sweet Love, Nita Baker.
Okay.
That's a favorite. Let's see. Change Me, Tamla Mann.
Oh, I love her.
Yes. Let's see. I have about, I want to say Adele, a few of her songs, not just one of them. And then Whitney Houston, Greatest Love of All. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to put you on the spot, right?
All right.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
All right. Let's see.
All right.
Okay.
First, I want to say, it's not just for me. This for your fans. This is for all the ones we ain't seen, can't count. We don't know where they at. All of them. All 5 million. Listen, we haven't touched where we gonna go.
You see, I'm listening to you.
Yeah, listen, I'm following you now. I done seen your Facebook. I done seen your YouTube. And I'm like, listen, for everybody that don't know, Larriah Jackson has millions of views. Okay, if y'all ain't heard of her on The Voice, you need to go to The Voice. Yes, I said it, and put in Larriah Jackson. I need to say no more.
I listen to him, guys. That's all I'm saying.
So when you do your shows, right?
Yeah.
Are you more like doing like track shows? You do like band? You do like...
Right. So for the majority, it's been tracks. I think that's my biggest goal right now. I want to find a band so I can do a full set show. Because I think it's a little bit harder to do like full like blown hour sets when you have tracks.
It is.
It's a little bit more risky because the track might have said I've worked with a few bands and I absolutely love the experience, but it's a little bit hard to find a full blown band who isn't working already. So it's definitely a work in progress.
Right.
I'm gonna figure it out.
Right.
Me and my management,
Right.
we got that. So I hope to find a band of my own one day and kind of recruit some people who are just as talented as I am and kind of work and see where we can take it.
That would be really cool.
Yes.
I would love to see that.
Yes.
Because I know you got great energy.
Thank you.
I just remember that the last time I had seen you, we actually shared a show. We did a show together.
We definitely did.
And I was like, wow, wait a minute, let me get your autograph. I was so happy to see you. I'm like, wait a minute, that's that girl on TV.
Oh, thank you.
You were shining. You really was shining. I was like,
thank you so much.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
But I can see you having that working for you.
Truly, I think that's definitely the next step for
next
my
level
career.
for you too.
Just to create an image for myself, like a name, kind of something. Of course, Larriah Jackson is my name, but I want to add some substance to that name.
Understand? Yeah, some backup on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so right now we're gonna take a short break.
Of course.
And you are listening to KIMBALL HOOKER Show on KCAT Radio.
Let's do it.
All right.
Thank you to the City of Montecito for their continued support of KCAT Public Media. The City of Montecito has enabled KCAT to inspire, educate, entertain, and inform our community through the magic of television and digital media for over 38 years. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the KIMBALL HOOKER Show here on KCAT Radio with my special guest, Larriah Jackson.
Hi.
You know what? I was sitting here listening to your voice, and it's so beautiful.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Do you mind giving us a little taste of that beautiful voice?
All right, let's see. Change me, oh God. Make me more like you. Change me, oh God. Wash me through and through. Just create in me a clean home so that I may worship you.
And the crowd goes wild. Woo! I love it.
Perfect.
Love it when you sing with emotion and passion.
Thank you.
Don't leave them guessing. Let them know.
I'm trying.
You gotta aim between the eyes. You gotta right there. Let them know I meant what I sang. Wow. So talk to us. I want to know a little bit more about how did the voice come into that playing, in your life?
Right. So in 2018, I auditioned in, I want to say San Francisco, I think. It was open call audition, and I went out there, and it was a whole bunch of people, and we were just kind of like there like for the day. So we met a bunch of people, we heard them sing, we were all just like, it was a good like grand time. It was just a bunch of people just sharing their talents, and I auditioned, and it was really, really cool. There was 5 other acts in the room with me when I auditioned, and I sang, and the other acts stood up and gave me a standing ovation, which was so phenomenal. I never imagined that, because it's like we're at this point we're competing against each other. So it was really, really, really cool. And of course, my ego was pumped up a little bit, and I ended up not getting called back, and I was torn. I was heartbroken. Mom was like, "No, you're fine. You're so young." And I was like, "No, I need to be on The Voice." Like,
that is heartbreaking. I'm sad. I wasn't even there.
I was completely broken. I was so hurt, but it also pushed me to work a little bit harder. Not knowing that I would get an executive audition not basically a year later. So in, what was it? January 2020. So maybe like a year and some change later, I got an email from one of the executive producers on the show, and she was like, hey, we want you to come for an executive audition. So I wanted to ask, I was like, well, how do you even know me? But of course, I just jumped at the opportunity. So we drove from Sacramento to Reno for the executive audition.
Okay.
And they told us, they like warned us, if we don't like you, we're going to send you back out the door that you came through. And we were like, oh, okay, well, thanks, I guess, to being kind of blunt. And so I was very, very nervous. I didn't know if it was going to go the way it did back in 2018 or if it was going to be something different. So I think I sang 4 songs in one sitting.
Wow.
Yeah, they were like, yeah, sing again.
Wow.
Yeah, what else do you have? One more time.
Who are these judges?
Song? These were executive producers. We weren't even in LA at this point. We were in, like I said, Reno. So it was just producers. They were just like, yeah, we want to hear you sing. And if we like you, you'll go do an interview after this. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to sing. I'm going to do what I supposedly do best, and we're going to see what happens. Okay. And I remember even in the audition, I gave her a song that I wanted to sing. I think I had prepared 5 songs. She was like, yeah, I don't like that one. I'm not going to sing that. I was like, oh, okay, I'll sing something else.
Okay.
So I sang, I believe, 4 songs. And after, they sent me in to do an interview. And I was like, okay, I made it this far. Let's do it. And so they kind of sent us home after that. They were like, okay, so we'll be in contact. So there was also a possibility that, you know, after you got sent home, they wouldn't call because maybe something happened. Maybe they decided to go somewhere else, and you got to be okay with that. So this was in January of 2020. So February, I get no call.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No call at all. And then March, that's when COVID hits.
Wow.
So I'm like, this isn't happening. I'm not getting a call. COVID just hit. This is not happening. There's no possible way this could happen. It doesn't make any sense ethically. So the call was promised February, no call. March happens. I'm like, okay, well, this is really, really done. And I get that call in March. And they're like, hey, this is Larriah Jackson. We're producers from The Voice. And I was like, no, you're not. Like, what?
Prank call.
Right? Like, no, you're not. No, this is not happening. Because it seemed like an impossible situation. Like, nothing was going right for anyone at the moment. Like, COVID was here. Everything was so up in the air. So I was blessed to get that call. Right. So, you know, they kind of gave us the whole rundown that it was March now. They would probably contact us again right before July is when we would go to LA. So we kind of wait all that time, which again, this whole process is a bunch of waiting. So we waited all the way to July, and they sent us our tickets. They sent us, where we'll be going, and we got to LA, and that's how it all started.
Wow. That's kind of scary a little bit, but you know what? It's all in the process. Yeah. It's all in the process.
It was very scary.
Putting yourself out there like that and trusting in what's going to happen, trusting in yourself. Right. How did it happen that you got qualified? I remember a girl at my school, she heard that I had auditioned for The Voice in 2018, and she has loved my talent since we were freshmen, and she was like, well, I might have a connection. My aunt, she works at The Voice, and I totally forgot about it. And I was like, you know what, stop it, like, oh, that's so cool, like, great, whatever. And her aunt, I believe, is the one who contacted me, and she was like, well, I told my aunt about you, she works in The Voice, I told her to email you if anything happens, whatever, what have you. And I think that's how it all started. But of course, I couldn't go back and kind of fact check that, because it was like, I don't know the lady who contacted me. I don't know. Right. So it was very weird. But I don't know how she found out about me. I don't know how she kind of looked at my credentials. I don't know how she saw anything. It was just more like the luck of the draw. She saw, I guess, some type of talent within me. I don't know. It was supposed to happen. I think that's what it was. Supposed to happen. It was supposed to happen, because like nothing makes sense with that. Nothing makes sense about how I auditioned, did not get there, and then a year and some change later I get an executive audition, not even an open call. Right. I mean, so it goes open call, I think you do one more audition after that, and then it's executive audition. Okay. So you have to go through a series of auditions just to get to the executive, and I got straight there. Right. Which and that never happens. Thank you. Wow. So it was destined for you. Very weird. It was destined. Right. It was destined for you. Right. Destined. Thank you. Okay, so you make it to the audition. You go past all this. You get there, and what was it like for your audition once you got the ticket? Like, take me back to that time. I want to know, because I want to sit there. Right. And I'm the fifth judge that you can't see. Take me there. Got it. So my actual audition, I sang I'll Be There.
by Michael Jackson. And, you know, you're kind of standing on that stage. And the stage is much smaller than it looks on TV. On TV, it looks huge, right? It's pretty small, which I think is a little bit more nerve-wracking because you're here and the judges are like right over there. Like you can see them. And that was the most nerve-wracking part because I could see their chairs. I could see, like, you know, their names, Gwen, Blake, John. I saw them, but I couldn't see them because their backs are turned. That's how auditions go, right? So, you know, we had rehearsed the audition a few times before. I think we had 2 rehearsals before. That's it. And so we rehearsed the audition, and then they were like, okay, Lariah, you ready? And I was like, well, yeah, I think so. And then they started playing the music, and I just kind of did what I had trained to do. And I feel like people always ask me, like, how'd you feel on stage? And I can answer that to a limit because I feel like every performance I had on the show, I blacked out.
Really?
Every one. Like, I would go on stage. I remember walking on stage, but the actual performing part, if I didn't have videos of that, I don't remember any of it.
It's probably so fluent for you. It's so natural.
Like, I think it's fluent, but it's also because of the stakes. I think when stakes are that high, you kind of just have to go into this mode to the point where you block out everything else. I think that's what happened. So I think I sang for about, I think they said 13 seconds. 13 seconds, and then Gwen turned around.
Wow.
It was absolutely insane.
So you don't remember her hitting the button and the chair turn?
I remember being on stage, and I remember singing in this mic, and I just saw this bright outfit. I don't know if you guys remember, but her outfit was like this beautiful, like sparkly outfit. I just kind of like saw something like turn around. I'm like, what is blinding me right now? And then I noticed,
because of the lights, right?
And I noticed it was like the lights blinging off of Gwen's outfit, and I'm like, oh my God, she turned around. And my mom, so you're standing on stage, and there's like kind of like the off stage, and I could see her. So I'm like looking at her a little bit, and I see her jumping up and like spinning around. I have to keep my composure because I'm like, okay, you're still in the audition. Like,
right?
You can't go back.
Don't blow it, right?
You can't blow this. She turned around, just take it home. And that was my audition.
Wow.
She was such a kind person,
Right.
Gwen was. She was so beautiful too. It was like just really, really cool just to have this, like, I did it.
Right.
Like, this is it. It was so surreal. Like, she turned around.
Right.
So like that was the okay. Like, I got it.
Right.
There was also a possibility, I think, with the show that you can audition, but there's a possibility that you can audition and it couldn't be aired, or you could audition and they don't turn around from you and it could be aired. So it was very nerve-wracking. It was really terrifying.
I watched that thing, Laura, probably like 4 or 5 times, and I said, "Oh my goodness, this girl's coming on my show."
Thank you.
Wow, it was amazing to watch too, because I said to
thank
myself, like, I looked at how serious you took it, and your performance was amazing.
Thank you.
You know, and then I also like when you were singing with the other gentleman as well, too.
Yes, Carter Rubin.
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. That gave me chills right there.
Thank you.
What was that like?
Oh my gosh, it was stressful. It was very stressful.
Really?
We so each coach has a team of 10. So that means 5 groups, I guess, or 5 teams that you have. So you have, Gwen had 10, and she put me and Carter together as a duet.
Okay.
And so she gave all of her other teams, like all of her other little pairs, she gave them songs the day that we figured out who we were partnering with, duetting with, or whatever. But she did not give us our song immediately. She waited like 2 days before we had our song.
To learn the song?
So we did not know what the song was at all. So all of our other teammates had their songs. They were practicing. They were in practice rooms. They were doing all we had. But we were literally the only 2 minor pair on the show as well. We were the only 2 kids who were paired together.
Right.
So we were like, what is she doing? Why is she doing
so long,
this
right?
to us? And so we waited for like 2 days, and we were like kind of like trying to guess, like, hey, what is she gonna give us? And she finally gave us like I'm Gonna Lose You by John Legend and Meghan Trainor. And we were just kind of like, that's a great song, but does she kind of hate us? Because why is she giving us a song when John Legend's gonna be sitting right there in front of us?
That was intentional.
I was like, oh my gosh, Gwen, you cannot do this to us. Please,
Wow.
please don't do this. Because, you know, you have to do your research before you go on the show.
Right.
It's like, okay, John Legend, he's very kind of particular when it comes to people singing his songs.
Absolutely. Yes.
He's very particular about it. So I'm like, okay, a 14 and 15-year-old are about to sing John Legend's song and either make or break their whole career.
Pretty much in front of everybody.
In front of everyone. So we had about 2 weeks to prepare the song. And I kind of take pride in this. I created our whole arrangement for the song, which was really, really cool. I've never done that before. So I just kind of I literally sat there for about 2 hours, just kind of like writing out the song, writing out what I wanted to do, writing out our harmonies, writing out, kind of how I wanted the song to go. And of course I ran it by Carter, and he was like, I love it. That's perfect.
Question for you. I have to cut you off on this one. What, like as far as the parts, did you give him his part? Did you?
As far as harmonies, yes. And then of course we rehearsed them for days and days, just making sure they were tight and put together. It was more just the matter of figuring out what worked for our vocal parts,
Understand.
Because he has this, beautiful, like, kind of, I want to say like alto soprano, mezzo soprano voice, and I had that kind of same voice, but I was more alto. So I was like, okay, how are we gonna basically switch this song so that we have, a balance between the two?
Right.
Because of course, on the original record, John takes all of the alto parts and then Megan takes all of the soprano, kind of whatever. So it was weird because we kind of like switched that. So I was doing John's part most of the time, and Carter was doing Megan's part, it was really weird. So we had to work through that. We worked through kind of having this chemistry on stage because we were so young. I think people expected us to be like, oh, they're just young, they're not going to do much. But we wanted to show people like we're not here to play.
Right.
At all.
Right. Y'all trying to take it home.
Thank you. We're trying to take this home, and we're going to do it together.
Understand.
Yeah. So it was really cool. It was stressful. It was really, really rewarding too, because once we got it done, it was just kind of like looking at this project that we had done. Like, we did this all by ourselves.
In such a short time frame too. 2 weeks is not a lot of time for 2 songs.
No.
To nail it the way you guys nailed it and rehearse it and practice it, and that's huge.
It was definitely tedious. It was very tedious because there was only so much help that we could get. I mean, we had our moms there. Like, me and Carter, we both had our moms there. So, of course, they made like a really, really good connection. They tried to help us as much as they can. But at the end of the day, they're not going on the stage.
Right? You are.
So they can't walk there with us. They can walk us as far as they possibly could. But
Understand.
At some point, it becomes a chance when we have to do it by ourselves.
Stand on your own, too.
Exactly.
And right now, I want to play a small clip. Ooh. And you guys can check this out at KIMBALLHOOKER.show/Jackson.
Ooh.
What was the biggest takeaway from all that, from that experience?
Right. My biggest takeaway was that my talent is far from being done. I have a lot more to learn. Right. I have a lot more to figure out about my voice, about where I want to go as an artist. I think that was my biggest takeaway because, in the end, of course, when you guys see the clip, you'll see fully that I didn't end up winning that battle. I lost the battle, and I ended up being saved by Gwen. But it was devastating at first being on that stage because, like I said, everything is live. Basically, while you're there, and of course, they edit it, they cut it, they do whatever they have to do. But while you're there, you're still standing in front of these monumental coaches, and who are basically telling your fate. Right. And so, they had us. I think Gwen had us standing up there for about a good 15-20 minutes, just trying to kind of figure out who she wanted to pick. And she went back and forth and back and forth. So me and Carter are like literally just like sitting there, almost shaking. Like, what is she gonna choose? And so it was. It was crazy. It was really, really crazy because I felt so vulnerable. Right. Like, these 4 coaches are sitting here, like, talking about me, like little old Larriah Jackson.
Directly to you.
Right. Talking about me directly to me. And it was insane. And so, of course, she finally got to the decision and she chose Carter. Right. And
How did that make you feel?
I was so hurt. As much as...
But you were still smiling. I saw it. I mean, you kind of, that's a tough position because you can't go, are you kidding me? You can't do that. Sure? Are you sure? Y'all might want to run that back. I got that. No, but I mean, for real, like, you have to show some kind of compassion or some kind of understanding, like, hey, you know what? That's what they chose, right?
Right. And of course, I made a relationship with this, like, with Carter. Like, he's still a friend of mine till this day. Like, it was just rough to... There's a level of being happy for someone because I was beyond ecstatic for Carter, but also feeling a little lost in myself. Like, what do I do now? Because in that moment, the show has a way of playing with your emotions all the time.
I bet.
But
unseen,
unseen. Yes. So the way that the show went is if you wanted to save your artist, you couldn't save them until they started walking down those stairs. So Carter wins, and they say, Lariah, do you want to say anything to your coach? And I wanted to say, no, I really don't.
I can imagine, right?
I just want to go home, please. I just want to hug my mom. I just want to just see her real quick so I can figure out what I'm going to do. But if I had to suck it up, and I thanked her so much for all that she had kind of pulling out of me as an artist, because I mean, that's all.
Did she
I wanted.
give you any coaching tips?
She did. She gave us more tips on how to, I guess, be one with the song, how to kind of identify with each other and kind of pull out that maturity in one another. So that was really cool. I thanked her for that, and I'm kind of walking down the stage. I'm trying to hold on to these tears, make sure this makeup don't come off with these tears. Right. And then I just hear this loud, just like noise that she's just pushing the button. I'm like, what button? Oh, I'm saved.
You can't hear that?
So, I promise you, there's so much going on. There's so much around you. You don't, like, everything kind of registers like a minute later.
Wow.
So, of course, Carson, who he's so cool. He's really, really cool.
Right.
He's like, Lariah has been saved. And it's so weird because I remember telling my mom about this after the fact. When you're walking down these stairs, there's like a little hallway. And I could see my mom in that hallway as I'm walking down the stairs. So I'm like, I just have to get to her. That's it. I just have to get there.
You're not thinking about that button?
No. I was not thinking about that button at all.
Got it.
And I imagined that maybe she had used her save on somebody else already. Like, there were just so many things going on. I was like, maybe I'll get stolen. Maybe I'll get saved. But, I was so devastated. I was like, let me just get to my mom. But she pressed that button. I went back on stage.
How'd your heart feel? What was going on inside?
It sunk. My heart sunk because it was like
surreal.
It was just like, what? Like, how do I have to go back? Like, it was like I didn't know what to do.
That was the last thing on your mind.
Honestly, it really was.
That's crazy.
It was just so weird to think about, because I know for some contestants they're like, okay, I'm gonna get saved. I'm gonna be fine. I'm gonna get saved. But it wasn't on my mind. It was like, okay, let me deal with this so that I can figure out how to not break down from this. So being saved, it was a dream come true, honestly. It definitely was in the end. But in the moment, you have to understand that there are so many things you have to process. You have to, stay smiling. You can't let your guard down. You have to, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Right. I truly, truly appreciate you being here. Thank you for coaching me. Thank you. But it's like, at the same time, you have to deal with those emotions, but you can't deal with them externally.
Publicly like that. Right. So present day, I mean, how has The Voice left you? I mean, like, what's the situation?
Yeah. I've learned a lot from The Voice, not just, not from Gwen, not necessarily from, the producers, but from my fellow castmates. I met some phenomenal people on this show. People who have, studied music, who have gone around the world, been on, kind of cruises studying their music, been on, in different countries studying their music.
Oh, wow.
So being in one area with them and actually being a peer of them, that was crazy. It was like, I can ask you guys questions. I can get all I need from you guys because we are now on the same playing field.
Right.
So that was really, really cool. I believe we were in live shows, and we were in a totally different space, and live shows when I got sent home. And I remember coming back upstairs after performing, I believe, and the whole, like, all my contestants, like all my fellow castmates, they were just like, Lariah, you are phenomenal. And we love you, and we know you've done a phenomenal job on the show. Do not let this define you. And it was really, really heartwarming, because I saw that they weren't just saying this just to say it. They said this because they really, really kind of fell in love with our relationship with one another. So it was really, really cool. I feel like we also created a family there, because we were there for 6 months.
Oh, wow. It's a long time.
From July to December.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a crazy thing. Like, you created this family with these people you're technically competing against,
right.
But it was never that. It was always just like how can I learn from these people? How can I take something from their persona and kind of mend it to something that I can make myself better as an artist? And they were willing to give so much, which I'm so thankful for.
Right. So you learned a lot.
I did. I learned a lot.
You know what? I love that story so much.
Thank you.
I really do. I took a lot just listening to you.
Thank you.
I get your vibe, your energy. I can feel the experience by the way you're telling it to me.
Thank you very much.
Right now, I want to take a short break.
Let's do it.
I thank you for being on our show. KIMBALL HOOKER Show is who you're listening to. And KCAT Radio is where we can be found. I want you guys to log in, subscribe to the podcast.
Please do.
and check us out on Kimball Hooker Show.
Thank you to the Los Gatos Community Foundation for their continued support of KCAT Public Media. Because of groups like the Los Gatos Community Foundation, KCAT has been able to inspire, educate, entertain, and inform our community through the magic of television and digital media for over 38 years. Thank you.
Welcome back to the Kimball Hooker Show, KCAT Radio, with our special guest, Miss Larriah Jackson.
Thank you.
You know what? I really enjoyed talking to you, but I want to go over one more thing, though.
Yes.
Talk to me a little bit about what was it like, the living on the show.
Right.
The whole experience living there with all the other people that your contestants that were there. What was that like? That had to be interesting.
Right. So let's go back to I guess when I first got there. So like I said, COVID was spry. It was there.
Right.
So when we first got there, we had to isolate for 12 days.
Wow.
So we were in our rooms for 12 days. So of course we can get room service. We could get, we had to actually go downstairs and test, I think every other day. So we get to go downstairs. I remember every day we had to go test. I would get as dressed up as possibly could. I was like, I can't go outside. So let me just get dressed for this, 10 minutes I'm going to be downstairs. But for 12 days we were in that room by ourselves. We went stir crazy.
Wow.
It was really, really bad. But I think it made the experience with hanging out with the other contestants that much better because we were so isolated for so long that when we got to meet each other, we were like, oh my God, people, hi, how are you?
Wow.
So that was crazy. And then as far as, living in the hotel, it wasn't just us in the hotel. So there were other people there. And so they explained to us, we have super fans, guys. So they know that, we stay in this hotel, but you cannot let them know who you are.
Oh, wow.
So we were there for, I think for blinds, battles, and knockouts. It was all pre-recorded. So no one knew who we were as of yet. Mm-hmm. Now when we came back for lives, that was when we had to really kind of be on lockdown because people now knew who we were. And that was a problem.
Isn't that awkward?
It was very awkward. It was really, really awkward. So I remember, I think when I was doing blinds, someone had asked me what I was here for. And I was like, I'm here for a family reunion.
Right. Isn't that weird? That's kind of awkward. People are trying to befriend you, right?
Right.
And they have ulterior motives.
Right.
And you have to kind of pre-know this.
I'm here for something. Nice to meet you as well. But the staff, for the hotel, they were they knew what we were there for. So they were so kind about it. They remained, kind of persistent in what they were there for. They're like, okay, we're gonna keep you discreet here.
Right.
But it was crazy. And then of course during I guess our performance days, we kind of had this whole thing where they couldn't touch us. As far as wardrobe couldn't touch us, makeup couldn't touch us, hair couldn't touch us. So we were we had to do all of our hair, makeup, and clothing all by ourselves.
Wow.
As far as kind of putting everything on. Of course, we had wardrobe specialists, which was really, really cool. We each had a person who dressed us, which was I was like, okay, that's fun. Right. So we would go to wardrobe every other week about just to figure out what we're wearing, and then we would kind of go back, and then day of performances we would have to wake up, we have to do our own makeup, do our own hair. Wardrobe would kind of come down, check us, make sure everything looked good, and then would kind of send us off. So that was really, really different because you hear about in other seasons, everything's done for you. Your makeup's done for you, your hair's done for you,
except your season.
Exactly.
Wow. Our
Our season was definitely a trial and error. It was how do we make this show happen without breaking CDC rules?
Wow.
So it was crazy.
So COVID played played a little role in there too because of the timing of it. Just for the timing.
Very big role.
Wow. So in the hotels, what about wearing masks? Did they enforce any of that?
Right. So we did wear masks for probably the whole time we were there. So masks were a 1000%. You cannot leave your hotel room without wearing a mask. And thing when you're on set, when you're about to sing, fine, you can take it off. But when you're on set, just kind of sitting around, mask on, we don't care.
Was vaccines in then?
No.
No vaccine.
No vaccine was there.
So no one was vaccinated.
No one was vaccinated because it wasn't a thing as of yet. Okay. I don't believe if my timeline's correct. I don't think it was a thing.
Is this 20?
This was 20.
Okay.
Right. So it was people were scared. Mm-hmm. And it was I think there were a few people who almost got sent home because they had a positive COVID test. Or I think there was a few people who got false positive COVID tests. So if you had a positive COVID test at all, you either had to isolate yet again or you were sent home.
I can see that.
Yeah.
It was brand new. It was fresh.
It was brand new. So they're like, we can't play games with this.
Right.
We cannot do it at all.
People were losing their lives big time at that.
Exactly. So that's why I was so like fearful, and I was grateful at the same time. I'm like, how are you guys doing this? Like, how are you making this possible when COVID is so real?
Right.
So, I mean, our production crew was phenomenal. They made it so easy for us. They made sure that we weren't, uncomfortable with everything around us. I think also one of the big things about that, I think in LA at the time, there was a bunch of fires going on as well. So with the masks really dry out your voice. If you don't know, they dry them out so bad because it's just this cotton or whatever, this paper that you're like putting on your mouth, and you can't really kind of get that fresh moisture that you need. And so the masks are drying us out, and then there was fires as well. There was smoke everywhere. Wow. So we were all like, we can't even talk.
Right. Can't breathe.
We can't do anything. Right. We can't breathe. It's like, it was very bizarre. It was really, really bizarre. So we COVID tested every other day while we were there. So for 6 months, we COVID tested every other day.
Wow.
So, I mean, I don't know how many tests that was, but it had to be a lot.
A lot. So did they have you guys wake up at a certain time?
So it depended on the day. So I know there was one day that I think I had a 5 o'clock call time. So that means hair, makeup, outfit, 5 a.m. And I was like, all right. So
5 a.m.
I'm not a morning person. I don't know if you guys know this. I'm really not.
Wow. That's really early not to be a morning person. And then have to like do your hair, your makeup, dress.
Oh, yes, right.
Wow. Like ready to go.
Ready to go. And as a girl, I want to be like, okay, I want to like get my hair done, but I can't do that. My hairstylist is not out here. So I had to figure out, how to do my hair by myself. My mom was a huge help with that. Okay. She was like, searching up, like, okay, how can we do her hair to make it look different? How can we like elevate her style? And we learned together. Right. And makeup, I've always loved makeup. That's been my second love. I love it. I love art. And that's my other form of art. So learning how to do that, it was definitely hard, but it was also really, really fun because I got to take all that I learned from the show with me. So, I'm going to have shows after The Voice. So, I still got to do some makeup. So that was really, really cool. And I also wanted to mention another thing. Although I got to the show in July, school also started in August. So I was doing distance learned Zoom school from July all the way to December.
Oh my goodness. You had to squeeze all that in there? So
you were going so much.
So you were going to school through Zoom and you were on The Voice.
And I remember a lot of people were asking like, Lariah, where are you? You look like you're at a hotel. I'm like, no, I'm not at a hotel. This is just my headboard.
That's so unreal to hear that. It's like you're one person.
Thank you. It was very stressful. Like there were times, like I said, I had a 5 o'clock call one day, and I was out from 5 o'clock to probably like 6 o'clock that evening. So school had already ended. I couldn't go back. I mean, I begged my school. I was like, hey guys, can you just like send me my work, please? Like just like send me Zoom calls so I can listen to them later. And like, we can't, make exceptions for one student. I understood that.
That's too easy.
Yeah. Right. It's too easy. Yeah. I can't just be like, oh, just make exceptions for me, please.
Right. No exceptions. Right. You do it for one, you got to do it for all.
Exactly. Exactly. So they were like, we can't do that. We can try. We can work with you, but we need something. We need more information. And I was like, I can't give you that. Right. So I was trying to, be as fluid as possible. Right. But the thing is, I didn't want to basically risk one thing for another. I didn't want to succeed in my career, but then fall short in my education.
Yeah,
and
that's
vice
not
versa.
A good compromise.
I can't do that. And this is my junior year as well, which, in high school, they said that's one of the most important years.
It's crucial.
It's very crucial because this is what colleges look at. This is when you have to be able to show what you have learned for these first 2 years. How can you basically participate and kind of like show that in your junior year? So I was like, how do y'all expect me to do this? How? Right. So I mean, I was working with tutors on set with The Voice. She was trying her hardest. She was like, your school's just not sending me anything. I don't know what to do.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. It was very, 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 very stressful.
And then COVID, that's a lot. You have COVID, you have school, you have The Voice, you have to work with at 5 a.m. calls,
crazy.
Hair, makeup.
It was so crazy. And
one person.
Yes, one person.
Can't do it.
I was like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out.
Wow, you're strong.
And at the end of my my junior first semester, I ended with all A's and B's, which is really, really cool. I was very, very proud of myself. Oh, wow. I was like, oh my gosh, I did it. I did that. So that was my like kind of pat on the back moment. Like you did that. You did a lot and you accomplished a lot.
That's a big deal.
Yeah, that's why I think that's what I kind of hold on to now today. Just kind of going through, like, if I can make it through something like that, you know, kind of honing in on my dreams and my education fully and not letting one compromise the other. And then ending with that, I was extremely proud of myself.
That's a big deal. You get the soul clap.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
That's a big deal.
Thank you.
Because so many people are watching you, right?
Yeah.
A lot of young ladies around the world, whether they want to sing or don't. It's not even about singing at this point. It's about follow through. You know, and don't let anything stop you. Right. So you're a positive influence. You're a role model.
It was so cool. I mean, I remember most of my following, like just on you know, Instagram or Facebook, they're mostly women. Like a lot of my following is women, but there was one man who contacted me on Instagram. He was like, I know I don't mean to be weird at all, but I just want to let you know that you are a phenomenal young woman, and I watch you and my wife all the time. And it was just so cool because it was like I don't know this man at all.
Random, right?
Very, very random. And he was just like, you have touched our household, and I was like, that's just phenomenal.
That's why I say you're an influence. You're an influence and a role model inside of so many homes.
Thank you.
Right? You know, that you don't even know. You're touching so many people.
And that was really, really cool. I mean, there was, you know, little girls who reached out to me. They're like, you're just amazing. Like, I want to be just like you. I was like, oh no.
Yeah. No, you were called for that.
Thank you.
You were definitely called for that. I mean, just to be on The Voice was such a milestone for you, especially, you know, being as young. So you were on there, how old?
I was 15.
15?
Yes.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. I turned 16 on the show, which was really, really cool.
So your birthday was on the show?
My birthday was, on the show. Yep. So like I came back from my knockouts, and when I went to Lies, I was 16 years old. I was like, hey guys.
Did they do anything special for you for your birthday?
So there was a break between. So there was, let's see, July, August, September, October. And then mid-October, I went home for like 2 weeks. And I came back for end of November and then December.
Okay.
So there was a bit of a break. I got to spend my birthday at home, which was really, really cool.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I got to spend it with my family. I got to go back and like be like, hey guys, I'm back.
Nobody likes home, but in this case, home is it.
Right, home was definitely it. Because it was like, that's a good birthday. 16, like that was something like good for me. I was like, oh, I think I'm 16 now. I'm like, I'm also working on The Voice, but I'm 16. So I kind of wanted to go home and like spend that with my family.
How was it like your home fan base? I mean, because I always watch these shows, right? And there's always like this kind of like hometown hero, welcome home celebration. I mean, how was that like with your friends and even people that you didn't know?
Right. It was very virtual. I can say that it was very much so through social media because, like I said, COVID was still going on.
Wow.
There couldn't be much of a let's throw a parade, like.
Right.
So it was a little bit sad at times. I was like, well, I just wish I could, you know, kind of go out and like fellowship with everyone who supported me and like just tell them in person how much I appreciate them. But I also wanted to remain safe.
Understand.
With COVID.
Understand.
So I mean, I didn't necessarily, you know, get the outpour of like, we love you, but it was very much so like they were telling me on Instagram, on Facebook, they were texting me
social media.
Social media. It was so heavy on social media. I loved it. It was so kind because not only, you know, they weren't allowed to come outside, they weren't, you know, it wasn't safe for their health to go outside and kind of like, you know, hang out with other people, but they made sure that they were letting me know that they were proud of me, which was really, really kind.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a whole lot right now. Yeah. So let me ask you this: do you have like a location where you can be found, like a website? Do you have an Instagram, or do you have a?
My Instagram is my first name, Larriah J, LARRIAH, and then my website is LariahJackson.com.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and then my Facebook is just my first name, and my Twitter is my first name as well. So it's just my name, this Larriah J. That's all. Yeah.
Google Larriah J, and you will find Larriah J. Shows, concerts, upcoming events.
Yes. Follow my Instagram for any upcoming events if you want to come out and support. That's where I'm most active at the moment. So, yeah.
Yay. Yeah. Thank you for coming on the KIMBALL HOOKER Show.
Yes, I had a phenomenal time. You are an amazing host.
Oh, thank you so much. I just want to say you have a long way to go. But you've come so far as well.
Thank you very much.
Don't let anything get in your way stop you.
Thank you.
Work hard and hustle.
I will. Thank you so much. It's been a phenomenal time with you.
Thank you. Kimball Hooker Show. Thank you guys for tuning in. KCAT Radio. And once again, go to kimball.show/Jackson and check out Miss Larriah Jackson.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Thank you.
You just heard the Kimball Hooker Show here on KCAT Radio. Explore all our KCAT original programming at kcat.org/radio.